Good morning, I'm Councillor Glen and this is my weekly update for Saturday, June 28th. This morning I'm at the Stittsville sign, the corner of Stittsville Main Street and Hazeldean Road. This is actually known as Kavanagh Green and maybe one of Stittsville's underappreciated or lesser known parks, but lots of stuff to do here. Just over there's a pickleball court and tennis court all fenced in. There's a picnic shelter, quite a large picnic shelter with some picnic tables. There are some putting greens like the one you see right behind me here. There's some fitness stations around the park, so that's Kavanagh Green. And of course, the Stittsville sign and the Canadian flag. And I wanted to be here this morning to remind you that on Canada Day at 9 a.m., July 1st, we are going to be doing a special flag raising ceremony here at Kavanagh Green at the sign and the flag. We're going to be joined by Ottawa Police, Ottawa Bylaw, Ottawa Paramedics, Ottawa Fire, an anthem singer, and we're going to be raising the flag, followed by a little reception over at Hazeldean Gardens on their outdoor patio. So I hope you can join us for that to kick off Canada Day, 9 a.m. There's a ton going on for Canada Day in Stittsville, of course. There's a Canada Day promenade on Stittsville Main Street. So the Stittsville Legion has a big event. There's a car show on the grounds of Frederick Banting. The Stittsville Lions have some activities going on, so lots happening on Stittsville Main in the afternoon. And then the evening, it's the annual Stittsville Village Association fireworks, and that's behind Sacred Heart High School and Cardell Rec. So please come out to that. It'll be a great event as always, thanks to the Stittsville Village Association volunteers. So lots to do on Canada Day. There's more information on my website. Go to glengower.ca/events. I also want to do a quick reminder about fireworks safety. Because every year people let off private fireworks, and every year in Ottawa somebody gets hurt. So please follow all of the safety recommendations, all of the bylaws. Remember, you should not or you cannot be setting off fireworks from a local park or a local school. That is not allowed. It needs to be on private property. And I would say there's very, very few private properties in Stittsville that are appropriate for fireworks where you can do that safely. So probably best just to leave the fireworks to the professionals and join us for the Stittsville Village Association event in the evening. Okay? Okay. After Canada Day, July 2nd, one other event to highlight. The Ottawa Symphony Orchestra is going to be doing a free performance in Stittsville outdoors at Alexander Grove, which is next to Johnny LaRue Arena. So that's on Wednesday evening, a free event. And it's not an event, but I wanted to mention it again this week. Lion on the Beach. This is the Lions Club. It's a big raffle fundraiser. You can win a trip to many locations across Canada and around the world. And tickets for that raffle are now on sale. So I hope you support the Lions by buying a ticket. Go to stittsvillelions.com. Super busy week at the city and at City Hall and everything. On Thursday we had our transportation master plan and it was passed by committee. As I mentioned last week, there are a lot of great projects for Stittsville. Finishing Robert Grant Avenue to the Queensway, upgrades to Maple Grove Road, Shave Road, Fernbank Road. We already have Carp Road that's starting at the end of the year. That's good. So lots going on. Most of the Stittsville projects are within the first priority group of projects, so happening in the first half of the plan. The plan's a 20-year plan, so when we're talking first half, looking at roughly to 2035, but hoping we can accelerate that. Actually, that's my concern about the plan is there's a lot of good things in there for Stittsville and across the city, for roads, for transit, for cycling, for sidewalks, but the challenge is around funding. And if we can find more funding, we can move quicker, but funding is development charges or taxes or money from the provincial and the federal government, and we're looking at all of those, but none of them are easy options, and they all ultimately come from taxpayers and residents. So more to come on that, but I hope we can move faster so that we can give more choices for how people get around the city, more ways to be mobile around Ottawa. I think it's fundamental and crucial to a high quality of life that we have lots of ways to move efficiently through the city, to get to school, to get to work, to get to entertainment, to shopping, to appointments, and we are not there yet here in the city of Ottawa. One thing that I brought up in the Transportation Master Plan is a new pathway not too far from here, through the Hydro Corridor, from roughly Stittsville Main Street, through Amber Lakes, in through Amberwood. Another connection for residents. We've identified through a feasibility study a pathway route. So formally I asked staff to add this to the next review of the Transportation Master Plan, which will be in 2 or 3 years. The feasibility study, unfortunately, wasn't concluded in time for this TMP, Transportation Master Plan, but I think it's a really great connection for recreation and just for accessibility. So I was glad to formally advance that, and hopefully we can get that going in a few years. Also this week on transportation, wait, I forgot one thing I wanted to mention. Speaking of transportation, Robert Grant Avenue got an update from the contractors. It's going well, and they're targeting this fall, let's say around Thanksgiving, for the opening of Robert Grant Avenue from Abbott to Hazeldean. So we'll have more information as we get closer, but that was good news this week. Okay, other transportation, OC Transpo. I wanted to mention I was really glad to be able to get to a couple of the OC Transpo garages this week for Worker Appreciation Month and see behind the scenes. OC Transpo launches their summer service tomorrow, so if you're an OC Transpo user, please check out the travel planner or use the transit app just to make sure you're up to speed on potential changes. There's no major changes, some small tweaks, and some tweaks that are aimed to improve some of the service issues we've seen. There's like a run of the 262 in the afternoon from Tunney's that hopefully we'll see some better service on that one in particular next week. And OC Transpo is free for Canada Day. So the best way to get around, especially if you're going downtown for Canada Day, don't try driving downtown. Take OC Transpo. You can use one of the park and rides. Great way to get around. You can use it to get to local events too. So Route 163, Route 67, Route 61, Route 62. They are all local routes that'll get you around on Canada Day or any day of the week. Okay, what else? City Council. Hydro Ottawa gave us their annual update. I asked about some of the outages we're seeing in Stittsville. A number of my colleagues asked about outages they're seeing in their community. So we're certainly not the only community seeing these short-term outages that don't always seem to coincide with bad weather. And I asked specifically to the CEO of Ottawa Hydro, is this because we have too much strain on the grid due to growth in our community? And he said, no, it's not growth. It is squirrel strikes, it is trees interfering with wires, and occasionally it's a bad driver driving into a post. So we have the grid capacity for the growth that we're seeing in Ottawa. Hydro Ottawa is investing to make sure we continue to have that capacity as Ottawa grows from 1 million people to 1.5 million people. And they're continuing to do small tactical improvements in the grid to better protect against squirrels or tree branches. So it can be something as simple as cutting back tree branches on a more frequent cycle, adding the latest in protective gear to hydro stations and so on. In some cases, burying wires or adding more modern equipment. So lots going on. I'm hoping we can set up a meeting here in Stittsville for Stittsville residents to talk directly with Hydro Ottawa to understand how they are planning for the future and how they are hardening the network, because there's a lot of interesting things going on. So stay tuned over the summer for more information there. We also got a good news report this week from Ottawa Paramedics, their annual report from Ottawa Paramedics, that response times are getting significantly better. I think it's the best reports that we've had since before the pandemic. So they're achieving their targets for response times, and there's been a significant drop in the number of level 0 incidents. Level 0 incidents is when there are no ambulances available, and that's down 79% year over year. So that's really good. And there is information on my website. And the last city and committee thing I wanted to mention was this week at council, we welcomed our new councillor from Osgoode. Isabelle Skalski won the by-election in Osgoode, and it was her first council meeting this week. So welcome, Isabelle. Looking forward to working with you at City Hall. Some quick reminders to wrap up. I mentioned Robert Grant Avenue, the construction's proceeding well. One of the projects that needs to be completed is some upgrades to the roundabout at Robert Grant Avenue and Abbott. There's going to be some overnight work later this week. To complete that, we needed to wait until school was out, and they're doing it overnight to minimize impact to residents. Wild parsnip, the city completed the round of wild parsnip spraying treatment this week. If you do see wild parsnip around the neighborhood in public spaces, call 311 and we can send a team to check that out. We had a request from a resident to remind folks about accessible parking spaces. They're only to be used if you have a permit or if you have another reason you're allowed to park in accessible parking spaces. So please respect that. Ottawa bylaw has been out a number of times in Ottawa and handed out a lot of tickets for people parked improperly in accessible spaces. So please follow the rules there. Another reminder, school is out, kids are out on their bikes, they're outside a little more often in the daytime. A reminder around road safety. If you're driving in our community, stop at the stop signs, watch for people at the pedestrian crosswalks, and slow down for the safety of your neighbors. And finally, a big congratulations to graduates. A lot of people graduating from high school, from grade 8, from grade 6, leaving ceremonies, college and university, lots of graduation ceremonies this week. So congratulations to all the graduates. Have a great summer and good luck with whatever's next for you in the fall. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great week. Happy Canada Day. I will see you hopefully at some of our events in Stittsville on Tuesday. And thank you for watching. Take care.